Welcome friends, it's Andrew from IDB here. There are a few different product categories that are really expanding right now. First is going to be home security products, ones that are affordable and versatile. The other are smart home products, especially HomeKit. They've been expanding like crazy lately, and the D-Link Omna is an intersection between those 2 points. The Omna 180 Cam HD is a HomeKit equipped security camera that has tons of versatility. It has a full 180-degree field of view, and it can record at 1080p onto a micro SD card. It has motion detection and even two-way audio, as well as night mode. It also has a really great look to it with that aluminum body and that big camera lens right on front. The only downside to the look is it looks like a camera. It's not as unobtrusive as some of the other cameras out there, so if this is sitting right there on a shelf, it could be relatively easy for a burglar or an intruder to grab and just be off with your camera. Inside of the box, you'll find the actual camera itself, a few getting started guides, as well as a power adapter. The power adapter is not anything fancy, it's just a micro USB cable. It nicely sits flush into the back of the camera, so it doesn't feel like some just off-the-shelf part. It does feel like it was meant to be part of the design. But it also means if you would ever lose the power adapter, you'd probably be able to replace it relatively easy and cheaply. In use, the camera works very well, though there are a couple noticeable drawbacks. First off is there's no real mounting options, so if I wanted to mount this up in the air, it wouldn't be really feasible out of the box. This is meant to be more placed on a counter, a shelf, or a ledge, and because of that really wide field of view, it works really well in those situations. It can also run a little bit hot. You can see these fans along the bottom, so you don't want to really obscure those because it can definitely overheat pretty easily. While it does have those minor flaws, overall I was very happy with the performance of this camera, especially with the improvements to HomeKit inside of iOS 11. Those really make HomeKit enabled cameras a lot more powerful. For instance, you can elect to receive notifications only when no one is in the home. When you are in the HomeKit app, you can easily see that live view right there of what's going on, and it shows up as two different devices, both the camera itself as well as a motion detector. Because it has that motion detector component, you can actually use that to trigger other accessories, like when motion is detected, the camera will start recording and lights can come on. You can even use two-way audio. For instance, I can turn this up, and if my girlfriend is not answering her phone, I can jump in here and start yelling at her to answer her phone right through the camera itself. In the Home app, you can view the different components, like the camera. You can choose the room that it's in and whether or not to include it in favorites. The motion detector has even more powerful features. For instance, when there is motion detected, you can elect to receive a notification, and it'll even include a live video or a little playback icon to let you play what is currently happening in your home. Thanks to iOS 11, you have even more control now over notifications. For instance, I can get notifications only during certain parts of the day. For instance, during the day when I'm not home, or maybe at night when I don't really want to be notified if someone's lurking downstairs. You can even do it when no one's home, so maybe I want it anytime at all, as long as there's no one supposed to be home. And because it is a motion detector, you can use it to trigger any other HomeKit accessories, whether it's turning lights on or off. Like many HomeKit accessories, there is a little bit of confusion between what you can do in the Home app and what you can do in the manufacturer's app. In this case, the D-Link Omna app allows you to live view your camera, take a picture of who or what is currently in your home, talk and communicate with whoever there, as well as mute it. You also have access to all of your stored footage. If I tap on SD Playback, I can choose any date that the SD card was put in there, and I can actually go back and view any recordings that it detected from the motion detector. Playback from that storage is really useful, and unfortunately you have to do through the manufacturer's app because HomeKit does not support it. Once you find that footage, you can either delete it or download it to your phone. Settings offers you a few more different options that you can play with, including turning off the motion detector or turning off the SD card recording. When you're viewing motion, you can actually choose which areas are affected by the motion sensor. So for instance, I don't want all this background area to be included, I just want this main area here because that's actually where the door is. And I can also adjust the sensitivity and frequency of those motion detections. For those who hate the bright little LED that's on the front of the camera, that's also something you can disable. That was shockingly something that people complained a lot about. There's a little LED right on the front, known as the status LED, and you can hide that. So now you will no longer be able to know if and when the camera is recording, which could be good or bad depending on your preference, and now you can make that change. So how does the footage actually look? Well, we have two 1080p clips here. First up is a night clip, so you can see how it works in pretty much pitch black. Currently, there are no lights on in this room. This is captured solely using the night vision, IR night vision of the camera. And here's what it looks like during the day with all of our lights turned on and the dog walking around setting off the motion detectors. As we come to a close, we need to evaluate the D-Link Omna. Is it the perfect camera? No, probably not, because there are still things missing, like cloud support. I want to be able to store my recordings in the cloud, so if someone would come in and steal my camera, I still have that footage available to me. But on the other hand, it is a huge benefit to include everything inside of one ecosystem, and that ecosystem being HomeKit. There are so many benefits like the motion detector and being able to use that for other scenes. It can have nothing to do with the camera, but every time I walk into the kitchen, I can have my lights turn on and off when I leave. It's really handy. I don't have to buy a separate motion detector to make that happen. HomeKit security cameras are very early, and the D-Link Omna is a very solid first step as one of the first HomeKit cameras out there. If you're a HomeKit user and you're looking to beef up your home security, or perhaps want a HomeKit enabled baby or security monitor, the D-Link Omna is definitely a solid option. You can find a link for it below in the description. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Until next time, this is Andrew for IDB.